What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one of our game recaps. These will be for Thanksgiving Day, November 23rd. And the first game was the Packers and the Lions. The Packers took this one 29-22. Jordan Love was 22 of 32, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 3 carries for 39 yards. This is a really good game. The Lions have some vulnerabilities in the secondary, so you could throw on them. It's not as easy to run on them. But this is obviously a tremendous day for Jordan Love. High touchdowns. Even the rushing wasn't bad. He's like a high-level streaming sort of quarterback like Baker Mayfield. He's not quite at that Josh Doubs level where we want to start him every single week, but he does have that high floor. I don't think the upside is high as someone like Josh Doubs who can run a little bit more, and it'll give us a little bit more consistency as far as throwing the football because we've seen Jordan Love have some bad games this year against defenses he should have tore up. And it's good to see him, at least this defense was one he should have tore up, and he did tear it up. So good on him there. Play him with the matchups. Think Baker Mayfield. Maybe in a 16-team league or a 14-team league, you can get away with having Jordan Love as your quarterback every single week. But don't, if you're in a 10 or a 12 team, I would think that there are going to be better options available on the waiver wire, or at least comparable options on the waiver wire. A.J. Dillon, 14 carries, 43 yards, no touchdowns. He also had 3 catches for 38 yards. This is a very A.J. Dillon day, low yards per carry. He's going to be very touchdown dependent rest of the season. He has the volume that a lot of running backs don't, so I could see you getting into a position where you just need a running back who you know is going to touch the ball a bunch. That's what A.J. Dillon is. He's not going to be somebody who gets you a bunch of yards while Aaron Jones is out. But he'll get you the volume. He'll fall into the end zone every once in a while. It's interesting that even in a game where they scored 29 points, he didn't fall into the end zone once. So he will get you touchdowns fairly regularly. That's the high about playing A.J. Dillon. But, yeah, not much upside there because he's not much for yards. Jayden Reed, the leading rusher last game, only 2 carries for 16 yards here. And Patrick Taylor had 3 carries for 11. Christian Watson, getting back on track, 5 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Add him, but I would not play him quite yet. It's interesting that, they've been targeting him. He just hasn't gotten the catches until now. Maybe this will start something. Let's just see where it goes, but hold off on playing him just yet. Malik Heath, 4 catches, 46 yards. A.J. Dillon had the 3 catches for 38. Romeo Doubs, 3 catches, 37 yards on 4 targets. So he was tied for 3rd in targets. Jayden Reed had the lead. Christian Watson was right behind him. Maybe this offense turns into a Kansas City sort of thing where there's not going to be any receiver who can be consistently relied on. That's kind of where I'm thinking this is headed, where, Jayden Reed, he gets the opportunities running the ball. He'll get some receiving opportunities. Deebo Samuel, very light is what I think of Jayden Reed. Definitely worth a spot on your team, but the production might be a little up and down, but he's been on a roll here lately, so you can absolutely do worse than Jayden Reed at your receiver spot right now. 4 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown for him. The touchdown was awesome, along with the rushing opportunities. Add Jayden Reed. There's going to be better options out there, but at this point on the heater he's on, add him, and I definitely understand playing him. Tucker Kraft filling in for Luke Musgrave, who's injured. 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. Solid stuff there, but I don't think he's more of a desperation play at tight end, which absolutely you could be in a spot like that at tight end this year. Patrick Taylor had a catch for 4 yards on 1 target, and Ben Sims did not haul in his only target. For the Lions, Jared Goff was 29 of 44, 332 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He also had 3 carries for 9 yards. This is what we expect out of Jared Goff: high touchdown or middle of the road touchdowns, high yards. He's going to be a little up and down because this is such an effective rushing offense. They're going to be able to lean on that for a lot of these games. But still, Jared Goff, I think of him as low-end, top 10 sort of quarterback. If you're in kind of a rough spot in a 10 or a 12-team league, you're starting Jared Goff every single week. It's not ideal, but you could absolutely do worse. David Montgomery, 15 carries, 71 yards. He also did not haul in his only target, so staying with the trend that we've seen the last couple games since he's gotten back from this injury, where Jahmyr Gibbs is getting all the receiving work and David Montgomery is still getting a bunch of work on the ground. With that profile, I think David Montgomery is going to be a little bit more reliable as far as rushing production because this offensive line is good enough to make Jamal Williams the leader in touchdowns by a mile last season. And if David Montgomery is getting most of the carries, he is absolutely playable every single week. So good on you if you got David Montgomery. Just keep playing him. Jahmyr Gibbs, this is where it's going to be a little bit more up and down. 11 carries, 54 yards. That's okay. 4 catches for 19 yards on 8 targets. Good to see him getting involved so much in the passing game. Second on the team in targets, tied with Sam LaPorta. This is absolutely what we want from Jahmyr Gibbs. He just didn't get the touchdown production, so he didn't have as big of a fantasy day, but this is great news that they're using him this much in the passing game. This is what a lot of people were asking for at the beginning of the season, and it is coming to fruition with David Montgomery just leading the way on the ground, and Jahmyr Gibbs still getting enough work to, it's not a completely even 50-50 split, but if you add up the receiving game work, I think it's exactly 15 touches to 15 touches. So really interesting stuff. I think both of these running backs are playable. Just as far as consistency, I think David Montgomery is going to be who you want. If you want more like higher highs but lower lows, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be that guy. But still, I think they should both be played every single week. Kalif Raymond had a carry for 6, and Reeves-Maybin had a carry for 0 yards. Elite name, though. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, 95 yards on 11 targets. He is a stud. Play him every single week without thinking about what the matchup is. Kalif Raymond had a huge game here, but he's going to be crazy up and down, kind of like he is every single year, really. 5 catches, 90 yards on 5 targets. I wouldn't go adding him. Jameson Williams, 2 catches, 51 yards on 3 targets. Another guy, if you're still hanging on to him thinking that's going to happen, because he had a touchdown last week, but it's just not going to happen. I was just dropping him. Sam LaPorta, 5 catches, 47 yards and a touchdown. Really great tight end day here. Keep playing another guy you want to play every week. Almost matchup proof, but there are other guys like the top end, Travis Kelce, TJ Hawkinson, even Dalton Kincaid while he's out, I think are mostly the guys, or while Dawson Knox is out, Dalton Kincaid, the guys that you can play every single week without thinking about the matchup. But Sam LaPorta kind of knocking on top 5 right now, sort of value as far as tight ends. Josh Reynolds had 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. He's an interesting play if something were to happen to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brock Wright, the tight end, had a catch for 9 yards. Malcolm Rodriguez, the linebacker, had a catch for 6 yards. And David Montgomery did not haul in his only target.